Hey guys, Kid here of Burn 1. I'm back with another deck tech slash tournament report this time for the Southern California's Neo-Showdown or Springfest regional that just happened. I ended up piloting Sword Art Online. I posted the part of the build recently, if you did see that video, and I ended up going 5-2, losing the last two rounds against both players who ended up in top 8, Fairy Tail and Sword Art Online. And I'm here to give you the list I went. I ended up 21st place, but I think it was technically 20th because one of the people got DQ'd who were in top 8 due to improper deck list. Anyway, I'll go through the deck first, and then at the end of the deck tech, I'll talk about my thoughts on the tournament and everything, and just give you a short rundown of a tournament report, and then I'll probably write a little article later. Anyways, if you saw my original video, it's basically the same build with some added few differences here and there. I am only running 3 of the Kirito runners this time. Still a great card. It only kind of screwed me one match a little bit, and 1k buff to Sinons, which is important since the build has a lot of Sinons. Still a great card. Loved it the entire tournament. And next we run 4 Silica Suiciders. Like I said in the last video, love this card. Top check, add to hand, then ditch one if it was at net or avatar. And a level 0 Suicider. And great way to thin your deck out early and just get through the deck or discard without paying anything. And this card is helpful throughout the entire match because of actually both abilities in this version, since I tech some new cards in. Next, we added 2 Silica Searchers. Needed a way to guarantee my level 1 game a little bit more often than just drawing into it, and another way to discard cards from my hand or fix my hand, or be able to play out stock early too, for the most part. Yeah, good card, blah blah blah. Still run 2 of the pay 1 clock yourself search for a level 2 or higher character and add it to hand. This card was amazing throughout the whole tournament. There was a lot of times where I got hit to 0-5, my opponent had a full field of zeros, and then I just clocked and then drew 2, then did this to get to level 1 to play my Sinons or Elizabeths early, and then crush them from there since they lost so much hand for flooding the field for some reason. Still run 3 Brainstormers. Might have wanted to cut it down to 2, but I just went with 3 since I love the ability to brainstorm. Yeah, great plus hand size, so you don't have to clock yourself all the time, things like that. In some matchups, you don't even need the extra 500 power, so you just have this in the back row and you can brainstorm almost every turn and just plus off of it. Still run 3 Asuna's Married Life support. Extra 1000 power when you play Climax is pretty important sometimes, and 500 power in front is good. It's a good card, blah blah. Next, the card we teched in here is from the booster, I believe. It's Shiochi's, what is this? I don't even know the name. Shiochi Shinkawa. Anyway, the whole reason we run this is basically everything is weapon trait in the deck, so it's a global 500. And the second ability, where all of your opponent's front row characters gain the target ability, is really important for our level 1 game, since we added some tech cards there. But yeah, this support was really good. It makes the 1-0 Elizabeth 7-5 and makes your 1-0 Sinon 7k. And it's kind of annoying since they're both free, cost nothing to play. Level 1, we still run 4 Elizabeth Changing Clothes. Just really strong card that's costless since we want to save stock. You could always end up going Star Splash if you want to put more yellow in the deck, but I like this better since it's a little bit more resilient and makes your counter range pretty beastly. When it's a 1-0-7-5, you counter up to 9-5, so your opponent has to deal with that. Still run 4 of the Clock Encore Sinon. 106k Clock Encore are super good, especially when you can run a 102k counter. Yeah, not much to say there other than it's a great card. Next, this is a card we teched in from the TD, 2 of the 1-0 Suiciders. The whole reason we ended up teching this in the deck was that without always having a consistent level 2 change, if your opponent for some reason played a really strong level 2 or played a 2-cost level 2 with 2 soul that's really big, it's really hard for you to kill sometimes, especially without a climax. With this, we were able to take care of any pesky level 2s. It came in handy 2 matches in the tournament, otherwise it was kind of whatever card. That's the whole reason we run the level 0 support now, since it gives target, so we don't have to pay for the ability it has. And then yeah, so what made this card so good is you can play this to kill level 1, but then use the ability to make your level 0 Suicider kill level 1s also, so you have like value throughout the whole game, since like this combo with a level 0 Suicider turns all your level 0 Suiciders into pay 1 tap 2 kill level 1. So it has, this first ability is if your opponent has target, this card has, across from this, it has level 1 suicide ability basically. The second ability is what makes the card pretty decent, has pay 1 tap 2 of your characters, then pick one of your opponent's characters, and then give it target trait and -1 level for the turn. So that's why it's like a pretty decent tech card, since it makes your level 0 Suiciders like still good throughout the whole game, especially since it has another ability, the Silica Suicider. And then this can kill level 2s whenever for some reason your opponent plays level 2s. Like English players for some reason love to play like level 2 characters a lot. Don't know why that is, but I guess just something that you see a lot in English and not a lot in Japanese. Still run 3 Vice Commander Sinon counters because 102k counter. We cut down to only 2 changers / supports. I'm not exactly sure if this was like the best call, but it was still good. Like sometimes I missed having a third one, but it was good throughout the day, so I can't really complain. Cut this down to 1. Didn't really use it that often when it was at 2, so just felt like this was a wasted slot kinda. So we ended up like using this once in the whole tournament. Still run 4 level 3 Sinons because the climax combo is pretty silly. I mean, like being able to go 4-3, 4-3, 4-3 is like the best when your opponent's at like 3-0. Who wouldn't want to do that? Still ran only 3 Asuna's commanding strength. I think maybe if I redid the deck for the tournament, I might have put in 1 or 2 1 or 2 burners, the beacon one. But this was nice. It was able to like side attack and buff soul whenever I needed it, especially whenever I got to hit to 3 early and needed to be able to side for 1 or something. And then we still ran 4 books for the climax combo and 4 gates because gates is still a strong card in English. That was basically the deck. The 1-0 and the 0-0 support tech was like pretty interesting. It helped out occasionally. Not very. I don't know how much I really actually liked it, but it was like pretty good whenever like it paid off. Other than that, this build's pretty solid now. I like it. I don't know if I'd play it in the next tournament. If I do end up going to Texas to try to qualify there, just because I think Contact Collection should be out by then, and I've played Contact Collection way more than I played Sword Art, so like I know how the game usually goes with the Contact Collection. Anyway, as for the tournament report, there was I believe 197 or 192 people at the tournament, and it was supposed to be scheduled as an 8-round tournament, but because of how many people dropped towards the end of the tournament, it became a 7-round tournament. Let's see. I ended up going 5-2, ending technically 20th place, I guess. I didn't lose till like my last 2 rounds. So round 1, I faced a friend who was playing Persona 4. That game was pretty interesting. I was like ahead of level, they were ahead of level the entire game, and they kind of misplayed at the end when they tried to counter out of order. So it was like pretty unfortunate, since that counter might have changed tempo for the game into their favor. But yeah, in the end I took that game. Next game after that, I believe, was against Music Angel Beats build. I just ended up hitting level 1 early and then dropping Sinons and Lisbeths, and my opponent couldn't handle it and ended up like having no hand for the entire game. So I got really compressed that game and just beat them at level 2. My third game, what was it? Don't remember the order I played everything. I believe my third game was Fairy Tail. That game was like pretty easy. Also, the changers paid off a lot that game because I double changed and double climax. No, did I even climax combo that game with Sinon? I don't remember, but I remember changing. I'm pretty sure I double changed to kill them, since they were like behind or ahead an entire level the entire game. Let's see, 3, 4. Oh man, why can't I remember the order? Oh, the game after that I played Nisekoi was like Time Machine only Dara build. My opponent's like game plan was to use the 3-3 event and to like blow out, but they couldn't really get anything going, especially since when they were able to get Time Machine off, they were out 7 climaxes. So I just like direct attacked with a climax and was like 3-3-3, and then they just took a ton of damage, and then so they lost that game. And WoW was at level 2 also, I believe, that game. After that, there was a Project Diva deck I played against. It was a pretty weird build, but I was able to kill off the level 2 Mikus with the Death Gun Suicider, level 1 Suicider, which was great since I got rid of those 2 Soul Mikus. That game was pretty easy. It was like pretty awkward. My opponent had a really weird deck build. I was actually kind of surprised they made it that far in the tournament undefeated. After that, I believe it was round 6 is where I played Randall, who made it to top 8 with like a Silica Splash Asuna type of build or whatever. That game was pretty interesting. My level 1 win game, that game didn't really come together, but I was still able to do stuff on the field. I had to use the Death Gun level 1 Suicider to like be able to kill things, but I had to pay to kill things since I didn't draw into my support, since it's really hard to search out the net support since there's no way to search. You have to kind of just draw into it or salvage it. That game was really awkward until like I was behind an entire level ahead an entire level that entire game. Like I was like level 2 when my opponent was like 1-0, or Randall was 1-0. So it was like pretty tough until I was able to get a change off at level 2 and then use the climax combo to get myself back in the game. But after that, he canceled like 7 times in a row when he was at 3-0, and I tried to go for game for everyone. And I was like 3-4, 3-4 over and over again, and he just kept canceling, and I was like so sad. And then I was out all 8 climaxes at one point at 3-0, and luckily my Randall didn't have a climax or anything. He had to just run in all his 1 soul characters into my level 3s. So I ended up only taking like 3 or 4 damage. So it gave me an entire extra turn to like try to kill him, but he still triple canceled there. So it was pretty crazy, but it was a fun game. I'm pretty sure he was just like going crazy when he was like canceling 7 times in a row. My game after that was against Fairy Tail. That ended up in top 8 also. It was like a pretty depressing game. Like I've played the Fairy Tail matchup a few times before going to the tournament with these changes I made in this version. And that matchup was pretty free for the most part. Like every game, even though like I had a clock encore a few times, I won every game like convincingly, in my opinion. And it really sucks because that game I couldn't get my level 1s at all together, and multiple times I could only attack twice at level 1 because of how just like the cards laid out. There was a point where I had 3 cards on field or at level 1, 2 climaxes in my clock, because I clock encored and both times had a climax come up for clock encore, which I usually don't care. But what happened was like I was stuck at 1-6 with 4 cards left in my deck and a climax in my hand and only 3 climaxes in my waiting room, and I needed to get at least there was 1 climax in the 4 cards in the deck, and I really needed to get like at least 3 of those climaxes back in my deck because I didn't want to refresh with like less than 6. So what happened was I attacked, didn't trigger a climax, and I attacked into a Suicider with my 1-0 clock encore and let it die, or my opponent used the Suicide ability to reverse it. And then I attacked again with 1-0 into an empty slot, and I don't remember if they took it or not, but at that point it was really awkward because I didn't trigger the gate yet or anything, and there was a 50-50 chance that one of the 2 cards left in my deck was a gate. And also if I wanted to clock encore to get to the 2 climaxes back and the 1 I left on the field from playing into my deck, I had to end my attack there and clock encore it, and to make sure to still be able to have the 1-0 out also when I had 2 cards left in my deck. So I had to make that decision because I needed to at least get 3 of the climaxes on the field back into my deck so I can refresh with at least 6. And I was really hoping that when I clock encored the 1-0 after it died that turn, was the clock encore would be a gate so I can get another climax back in my deck. Unfortunately, it was on the bottom of my deck, so I didn't refresh with 7. Ended up with 6. Turns after that, my opponent played the gray changers and stuff, like the generic fairy tale build that's like very good. Yeah, he just played the changers and then played over level 3s to change again, and he got like pretty lucky that I got totally screwed at level 1 like multiple times, and then at level 3 it was like pretty bad since I didn't really get much out. So I like lost that round. It was pretty sad. Like out of all the games, that was the one I got screwed the most. Like the game against Randall, which was kind of rocky, was like at least still a game because I was able to do stuff. But that game, I was just like, yeah, my butt got devastated. Let's just say that. But yeah, it was an interesting tournament. Pretty depressed that, or not depressed, but pretty sad that I didn't get into top 8 this time around. But I did still have a really good showing of going 5-2 with this deck. I think this deck can easily make top 8, especially with a good pilot. Other than that, yeah, great tournament. Also, Bushiroad looks like they're trying to change up how the tournaments are going. They had a survey thing going on where you could write down like would you rather have it 2 out of 3, how many rounds would you want to run Swiss or double elimination and things like that, and have like possible better prize support of like having a prize instead of like almost no prize, and also tournament entry to like increase prize and stuff like that. So hopefully by the end of the year, maybe they'll make some tournament changes, and that would be pretty interesting to see you know, how the competitive scene will be, since, you know, having this free tournament, a lot of the first rounds is always like a lot of players like just like slamming +2 soul and stuff just because they're new or they're just there with friends or whatever, borrowing decks sometimes. And it'd be really interesting to see how it like at a higher level, because of the entry, would stop people from like entering with this random janky decks as much. See how like it would turn out. But yeah, shoutouts, I guess shoutouts to Triple Crown, my team, helping me be able to play in this tournament. They got me some of the cards I needed for my deck, since I had to buy some, since I don't really buy English cards that often. And also shout out to Marcel, another like teammate of ours who also went 5-2. And yeah, congratulations to everyone who made top 8, and hopefully I end up going to Texas and like getting a spot if I do end up going to Texas. Otherwise, I guess I'll see you guys towards the end of the year for WGP. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz and stuff. And make sure to check out our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/burn1blog. I'll always post up all the blog articles up there and videos and things like that. And you're able to contact me and talk to me on there if you guys have questions or anything like that. Otherwise, see you guys later, and hopefully I come out with more videos soon.